friend Paul.
Worked together at another American school in Taipei called 国大理美国学校 at丁州路. So Paul and I are old friends, and it's my pleasure to have him here today. I also want to especially thank your teacher, Xu Laozi, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you. And I hope this afternoon that as we talk, you can learn some things, not just about me, but about you. And hopefully that will make a difference in what you do as you go out of here as well.
我们要特别谢谢徐老师给我们这个机会，能够到这个地方来跟大家来分享。那我希望透过今天的分享呢，同学不只是认识到我这个人而已，更能够有机会呢，可以认识到更深的你们自己的文化，还有你们这个人。
So the first thing we're going to do is hope that the projector works. Oh, there it is. What I'm going to do to introduce myself is to give you a world tour.
Alright, 我接下来要怎么样？就是用这种方式，接下来用一个环游世界的方式来介绍我自己。
Now this year I'm 40 years old.
我今年已经40岁了。
老了，对不对？So I'm going to show you 40 years of my life in about 4 minutes.
OK, 4分钟之内呢，我要跟你介绍一下我过去40年的生活。
And while we take this tour, I'm going to tell you some information. So you must listen very carefully, because it's very fast.
OK， 所以你要很仔细听，因为我接下来讲的会很快。
And it starts in the country of Japan.
OK， 从日本开始。
I was born in Japan.
我是在日本出生的。
And in particular in Okinawa.
特别是我是在 Okinawa 冲绳岛这边出生的。
When I was 8 months old, we went to Vietnam.
8个月大的时候，我们就去越南。
And to the city of Da Nang.
到那个 Da Nang 这个城市去。
Now I got to stop here for 1 second, because when I was born, it was 1969.
我1969年出生的。
And when we went to Vietnam, it was in the middle of the Vietnam War.
我是在去那边的时候，正好是在越战当中。
So but I was very little. And my father was a doctor at a hospital in Da Nang.
OK， 所以我爸爸是那个时候是那边的医生。
We lived there for 5 years.
我们住在那边5年。
And then in March of 1975, we had to leave very quickly.
所以1975年的3月的时候，我们必须要很快的离开。
So we left very quickly on an airplane to Bangkok.
所以呢，我们就搭飞机到了曼谷。
And then to Amsterdam, where it was very cold.
OK， 然后我们接下来又飞到了荷兰的阿姆斯特丹。
Then to New York City.
然后又飞到纽约。
And finally to Albany, which is upstate New York.
后来又住到 Albany， 就是在那个纽约州的上方。
I was in Albany for 6 months before moving to South Carolina.
OK， 我住在那边住了6个月，然后呢就搬到 South Carolina 这个地方。
And in Carolina for 1 year, we flew to California.
住了那边1年之后呢，我们就搬到加州去了。
Then to my second favorite place in the world, Hawaii.
然后就住到我生命当中第2个最喜欢的地方，就是夏威夷。
And finally to my 老家, which is Taiwan.
然后最后终于到了。
So I came to Taiwan in 1977.
我到台湾，我是1977年到台湾的。
You were not born yet.
大部分的你们应该没有人出生嘛。
And we lived in a city of Taichung.
我们住在台中的台中市。
And my mother and father studied Mandarin, studied Chinese in Taichung.
那个时候我的爸妈就在台中学中文。
So after studying Mandarin for 2 years, we moved to the city of Taitung on the East Coast.
所以学了2年的中文之后，我们就搬到台东。
谁有去过台东？台东是台湾最漂亮的地方。It's very, very beautiful. And so I, as a little boy, I was maybe 8 years old, 9 years old. My life was running around Taitung with all the Taiwan 原住民 and me. So I call myself Taiwan 原住民. So I lived in Taitung for several years. And then we had to go back to America for 1 year. We went through Hawaii again, then to California, and then we rented a little car. And my family, there are 4 children in my family, all of us drove across the country to Florida, and then all the way up to New York. It was a very long trip, lots of fighting.
所以有一年呢，我必须要回美国去，所以呢，我们就先回到夏威夷，然后又坐飞机飞到California， 然后再从 California 那边呢，我们就租了一台车，然后呢，我们就一路开，从 California 一直开到佛罗里达，然后又从佛罗里达又开回到纽约去，非常遥远的路。
So then, after 1 year, we flew back to Taiwan, where I lived for the next 5 years again.
对，过了1年之后，我们就飞回到台湾来了。我们在那边呢就住了5年。
During that time, we spent a month in South Korea, and I'll tell you why later.
有1年有1个月，其中的1个月呢，我们住在南韩住了1个月。
And then we also spent about a month and a half in Europe and in Germany in particular.
OK， 后来又住了1个半月呢，住在欧洲，特别是很多时间是花在住在德国。
Then we went to school back in New York in the very upstate near Niagara Falls.
所以我在高中毕业之后呢，我就回到美国去念书。我念书的学校离加拉瓜瀑布很近。
And this was the school I went to. It was called Houghton College.
这就是我当初去念的大学。
I was there for 2 years.
在那边念了2年。
And then I flew to Hawaii for some more schooling.
又飞回到夏威夷，再去念书。
And I lived in Japan for 3 months in Tokyo.
后来又回到东京去住了3个月。
Back to Hawaii.
又回到夏威夷。
Hawaii is very nice. Then I flew to Taiwan to see my family.
后来又回到台湾来看我的家人。
And then I flew back to New York
又飞回去纽约
to finish my college education.
然后呢，那个时候才完成我的大学。
After graduating, I came back to Taiwan.
后来毕业之后呢，我又回来台湾了。
And I was offered a job at Morrison Academy in Taichung.
对，那个时候呢，我台中的母校呢，他们就邀请我回去上班。
So I worked for a couple years, and during that time, I decided to get married.
所以呢，那个时候在那工作了几年之后呢，我决定我要结婚了。
So I had, of course, to fly back to Detroit.
所以呢
After that, my wife and I flew back to Taiwan. I worked for another 2 years.
后来我又在同样一个地方又工作了2年。
And then to St. Louis, Missouri.
后来呢，我又回到 St. Louis， 密苏里州这个地方
Right in the middle of the country.
就是在全美国的正中央。
And I taught at an elementary school in St. Louis.
我在那边呢是教那个小学。
My second child was born in St. Louis. My first child was born in Taichung.
我老大是在台中出生的，老二呢是在 St. Louis 这个地方出生。
And then 老三的话 back to Taipei. And this is when I worked with Paul at Bethany.
当初呢，我跟 Paul 在一起工作的时候，就生了小孩，但是不是因为跟 Paul 生的。
No. Are you tired yet? Most of the time, I work right here.